again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Friday night press conference reaction show. I'm, of course, your host, Martin, the very tired Governor Lambert. We're looking forward to bringing you this show after last night's antics. We'll grab the two lads' thoughts after last night, their best bits. There's lots of funny moments. Reminds me, I've got to pay Matt for the taxi, actually. Wonder if we can roll that into a... yeah, I can see that. I can see the sign. Thank you very much. But it was a wonderful evening, and again, thank you ever so much to every single one of you that sent us there, whether you voted, whether you contributed through Ko-Fi or contributed through actually our ticket. Thank you so much. The lamb was just exquisite piece of lamb. But I'll get the two guys on in a second. We'll just grab some early FCA thoughts. Don't forget, prediction week number 9 is here. Those are the predictions. Benmore Derby, of course, which is tomorrow. Colchester Harrogate. Westerville Trimmy Red Devils has been called off due to COVID, sadly. So it's Norwich versus Brighton as well. Links in the chat to get yourself going in there. And don't forget, you can support us through Ko-Fi as well. Right, let's get cracking into it. Let's bring in one of the members who was winning. Actually, I'll bring the guy I owe a bit of money to. Brief intro. Here he is. That's the intro. Matthew Phillips, welcome in. Any more, we've got to pay your royalty, and I can't afford to pay you any more money. How are you, Matt?
Good, thanks. I'm all right. We had a good night last night. It was a late one, wasn't it?
It was a late one, but it was a good one. It was a great night. Lots of laughs. I think the best bit for me was when Rich got a picture with Troops and didn't have a clue who he was. He'll say otherwise, but he was like, who was he? Who was he?
This guy. You was impressed with my transport logistics, weren't you? In the taxi to get there.
I'll let Rich do that one. Don't worry about that one. Yes, we can share with the community that particular story. That was a lovely moment. Roy Clark. It was nice to see that lad Bowman is back in training and grabbed position for Shrewsbury for the help they received. Yes, he is back in training. Yeah. Whether he plays tomorrow remains to be seen. Obviously for Shrewsbury. EJ Norris hoping for a good win for those going tomorrow. Yeah, lots of fans going tomorrow. You're not going the way, Matt. So it's an away day. Matt don't do away. He barely does home games this year, it seems.
Well, tell everyone what I'm actually doing. Don't just make it look like I can't be bothered.
But you can't.
My wife's birthday continues. We've got the family party tomorrow.
It continues.
This goes on for ages.
Mark Rattle, was it lamb or goat? No, it was lamb.
It was lamb. You liked the lamb, didn't you? But felt you could have had another one.
I thought it was a great start. But it was the main meal. Yeah. Where was the start? I thought it was two. Was it a three course?
No, two courses. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, I'll let them off then. I thought I'd been robbed of a course, and I was already going to storm the kitchen. Excuse me, my community. I've paid for a free course, and I got 2. No. I'd be any plate for the gov. Oh, you are romantic, Colin. Right, let's bring in the man with the best stories. Cruncher met Troops, or did Troops meet Cruncher? I don't know. Who met who then, Rich?
Did you say that I didn't know who he was, or Matt didn't know who he was?
You didn't know who he was. You told me
who
he was. You knew who he was. You went, who was it?
Matt or me?
You.
Yeah.
I know Troopers. I've been watching Arsenal TV for fucking years. He didn't know who he was up there.
I didn't know who he was.
No idea who he was.
I don't watch Arsenal TV. I'm not watching that show. Too busy with this show.
Carl Brooks heard Troops ask Cruncher for the photo.
Got some great trainers on, haven't he? I think they were some like basketball yellow. Basically, ones.
Take what you see on the shows, and when Don Robbie was there collecting.
Let's talk about him, because everyone out there, Martin is a massive fan of Robbie, but he absolutely shit himself last night and didn't have a photo with him.
I became like a giggling little schoolgirl. Met with their famous pop star. Go and get a photo. No, I'm all right. I'm all right.
I got a little fist bump.
Yes, I know. When he walked past for the award, I was like, "Go, Robbie."
So we had a really good table, didn't we? We were AFTV, the lads, they were just behind us.
Lively, weren't they? Lively.
Well, very lively. Very lively.
But when we went for the award, he was saying, "Robbie, tell him who runs this place. Tell him who runs this place." And this is like, Troops is like just what you see on the camera in real life.
There was 2 highlights for me. A massive shout out to everyone who got us there, who contributed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic evening. And it was great we sat with some really nice people, didn't we, on the table?
from
Yes,
Bristol.
the Her Game 2 crew.
And Charlie from the Rovers vlogs, I think.
Palace podcaster and an
he
Everton
got
podcaster.
he didn't know the etiquette, which way to go with his bread roll.
Annoyed you, that didn't it? Messed up the role rotation.
But the two highlights for me was for Matt in the WhatsApp group earlier in the day called me and the Gov a couple of bumpkins. I know how it goes down in the big smoke.
Well, I said I'm going to book an Uber. So when we come out of London Liverpool Street, there's a taxi already waiting for us, and we can get off. And Matt said, nah, loads of black cabs outside Liverpool Street. You couple of country bumpkins. I know it works in a big smoke. So what happened, Rich? What happened?
We've come out of Liverpool Street, and there is fucking a massive taxi queue and no cabs.
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah.
That was no goal. But my favourite part was so when you pulled into the Royal Lancaster, you had the old concierges, didn't have the jackets on and the hats on. And when we've come out to go home, Matt's. Oh, well, another story. Matt was a little bit annoyed because he thought he was getting a whole bottle of red wine to himself, but someone else had to share it with him because everyone else is on white wine. We've come out to get the taxi, and then Matt says, "I think I'm going to start wearing the bowler hat."
That was a good look, wasn't it? Don't see bowler hats anymore.
Brilliant.
Walking on this lovely hotel floor, and he just suddenly blurts out of nowhere, "I might start wearing bowler hats."
Yeah.
Absolutely classic. I got charged for that Uber, on the way home. They didn't show up.
Really?
Yes, I've had to email them this afternoon and say, "Excuse me, you didn't bloody show up." But hey, we got a Millwall Fanta drivers home, black cab driver, and big bar.
What about the couple we see? We see them when we went, didn't we, Martin, at the station? Then when we come back, they've been to watch a reporter in London. Said they'd had a great night, but they were looking forward to their two kids waking up about 5 o'clock in the morning. This was about, what time was this? 1:15?
Yeah, well, I can confirm mine also woke up at that time, and it's not nice. I can feel their pain today, hence the shortened intros. Let's get into it because Gov is tired, and Gov's got a 10:30 pickup for Cambridge tomorrow. I don't know if they've moved it halfway across the country or if Colin just wants to get on the beers early.
10:30?
10:30.
Wow.
11:30.
I think I'm punting to Cambridge, and up the River Rat. Matt's done. I definitely have to have a TT. Absolutely, a TT table next time is the key. We've got to get there again. And Matt, you last night, when I said about this going for this award, you were like, "No, we don't do awards. We're the rogues of the podcast.
We're the outlaws.
We're the outlaws." You didn't see old Ned Kelly going in for an award. But last night, tell the people at home what you said to me and Rich.
We were robbed?
No, well, you said that.
I did say that. No, I did say that. That's what we need to be in for more awards. It's good fun.
Absolutely. It's come full circle. So what would you like the guys and girls at home to do?
Oh, right. The next one, what is FSA's, Football Supporters Association?
That's it, yeah.
We're the only Ipswich Town podcast that stayed till the end, everybody.
Well, there's only two of us there. Let's be fair. I did try and look for the others, but they didn't make it.
We went to say hello. Gone already.
Yes, I have the link incoming for the FSAs, the FSA Award 2021. Get us there again. We love awards.
It's great, isn't it? We've had like just over a year. We've got 3,000 subscribers. What we want to do is get bigger, don't we? We want to get more subscribers. So if there's people follow town, don't watch this, get them involved because look, it's a great community, and the guy up there, he needs all the credit, But he was looking for who he.
He means me.
Yeah, not Matt.
Just in case we were wondering now. Yeah. The backbone. That's
we did have a little chat, didn't we? How it all started on the train, and I think who were you trying to get hold of? You got Matt instead, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, never mind. Matt. Oh, yes, one that was before Matt. But good evening, Irv. Good evening, Dino. Like ITFC in the community, get bigger and bigger. Yeah, I think that's what let us down in the end. The fact that the football club has done NAFL for 20 odd years. Like the Blade, the one that won it, Blade. Full credit to them. But they're a recent Premier League football team. Like we just played two ninth place finishes in League One. Like and we've got Hard Truth as well. But I'm really pleased with this there to start off with. Have you written your emails a complaint yet, Matthew? Because at the table, after the red wine was flowing, every time there was an award, Matt would go, "This is an outrage. I'm going to write a long email complaint. This is an outrage."
We had like people like us going against people like Sky Sports.
This is an outrage.
That did outrage me. Yeah, I've not written the email. No, I haven't. Hey, big shout out to the guys at Celtic, the Celtic State of Mind, which we've given a shout out a couple of times.
Big fan of them, and you, Matt.
They won 2 awards. Very nice. When I went to go and chat to the Kings of Anglia, had gone home already. I went and chatted to the Celtic lads. Very nice lads. Yeah.
He also quite often like to say, "I'm gonna look into this lot. This is ridiculous. I'm gonna look into this lot." Like there was some sort of.
I didn't realise I was talking this much.
You were. Really, Rich. It was famous for his whole. I'm gonna look.
It was only after half a bottle of red wine. God knows what happened if we had the whole bottle.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, we're going through Cookie's press conference, but before we do, welcome to the world of Ipswich Town Football Club, where nothing stays the same. So, since the press conference, we had some news come out. Obviously, 2 bits of news, really, but the first one I want to touch upon, because the second one's kind of in the press conference review, if you like, is Town appoint Director of Football Operations. So the shock headline really should be here: Town act like proper football club for the first time in nearly, since the millennium. So we've got a new director of football operations. His name is Gary Probert. I don't know if he's a brother of Lee Probert. Obviously the famous referee there.
Probert, yeah.
Anyone
Unusual
know?
name, though.
Yeah. They look a bit alike, to be fair. They do look a bit alike. So he's going to come in and oversee the academy, the pathway, work with Ashton and Warren and Andy Costin and all that sort of stuff. It kind of says the role will help support Lee O'Neill, but I kind of feel it's here to phase out Lee O'Neill.
That's what I did think. Where does that leave him? Where does that leave him, really? Because do we really need 2 people doing that?
It's a bit like when they brought Gerard Houllier in to help out Roy Evans. It's like...
Is Lee O'Neill still at the club? I thought he'd gone. He's still there.
No, he is.
Look at that in the chat. Colin's gone all gangster. Hi, Callie. How you doing, bruv?
He's next to old troops. So what do you both make of that move then? Obviously, I mean, Eve, who was a Bristol City fan on our table, didn't like Ashton. And this is another part of Ashton's backroom team. So, penny.
Is there anyone left down at Bristol City that... Because he's cleared them all out, hasn't he?
Well, I fucking tell you what, their media team that won the award, geez, that was a first team squad photo when they turned up. There was a lot of them, weren't there?
That'd be us next year. That'd be because we got 3rd, didn't we? I think in Best Football Club.
Yeah.
That would have been us. Well, we would have won it had they released Callie's video earlier. Do you know what I mean? Because that's going to be a BAFTA winning one, I reckon. So, that's why we're going to get it next year. But are you both happy with this move? Do you both know not enough about him to comment?
To be honest.
I wouldn't say we know enough about him, but Ashton's cherry picked him to follow him from Bristol City to Town, and it's more expertise in the building, isn't it? We've not had expertise in the building whilst Evans was the Evans era.
Yeah.
So it's good.
A lot of complaint, Rich, on the fan react show post game through the year last year. Really was all about if Evans is going to stay, he needs to employ football people in terms of football operations, etc., etc. Is this more of what Evans really should have done a lot earlier?
Yeah, definitely. We've got them all lined up now, haven't we? We've all the ducks are in a row. What I want to touch on today, I thought was more important, is Matt Holland joining the community trust.
Well, that's coming. Chill out.
I thought that was absolutely fantastic.
Chill out. It's coming.
I messaged Matt earlier. I've messaged him just saying congratulations, and something like that. I said to him, it makes my heart warm. When you get someone like him involved in our football club, and he said it's my club. He played a lot for Charlton as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
But Town it's his football club and it's our football club, and I think the way we're going with not just only the guy coming in today, but the community trust is massive, and the football club, everything is geared to move up. We're all going in the right direction. Everyone's pulling in the right direction. We see in the week there was Paul Cook, with a fan, all little things like that. And I know a lot of people might think it's only small things, but it's all coming together. And now we need the football team, because at the end of the day, it's results on the pitch.
Yeah,
everything else takes care of itself. And we go to Cambridge tomorrow. We're going to touch on it in a minute, but it's a big game. I know a lot of people thinking it's not a big game. It is a big game, and it's a game we need to win.
Okay, then, folks. That's Talking Town. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all very, very soon. Right, that quite nice.
Well
done.
Charlie, who sat next to you, Rich, last night, is in the chat.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good lad.
Yeah.
What a little hero. There he is.
Disappointed about the selection of cider on offer last night, and I probably agree with him. He's in London. He's probably got to pay London prices as well.
It was a free bit. It was a free bar. Charlie, there's wine on the table. There was beers going around. I always had white wine all night. I never had white wine.
The lamb was absolutely spot on.
It was.
Martin doesn't like sparkling water, everybody.
Oh,
shocked by this.
It's the devil stuff. That
it's my favourite.
I'm not surprised that you like it. Rich, we'll stick with the community trust, all right? Because obviously you mentioned Holland there, but you got Ashton as well on the board. You got a trustee, you got Chaplin, and Talking Town favourite, obviously been on the show many times, Natasha Thomas. They're all joining as trustees. You've mentioned a little bit there and what you feel of it, so I'll come to you, Matt. What do you make of it? Is it a big part of the football club? Is it more direct moves in the right direction?
Yeah, moves in the right direction. This was the kind of thing we were crying out for under Marcus Evans, wasn't it? It was like none of this kind of engagement.
He got disbanded, didn't he, Matt?
Got disbanded.
Yeah.
And to be fair to Paul Lambert, he said he wanted the community trust to come back when he was appointed. So, I mean, that's one very small positive that came out of the Lambert appointment. But yeah, it's great. You've got Matt Holland now engaged enough with the club to come back in that role. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Then you've got Natasha Thomas, a role model for female players coming through. And then you've got a present player in Connor Chaplin, who's new to the club and wants to get involved. So I just think that is three people that really can push the name and the brand of Ipswich Town into the community. I think it's really
that's you just hit the nail on the head there. Engagement, Matt. Yeah. That's the word, and everyone's engaged. Yeah. Everyone's engaged, pulling in the right direction.
And that is what Natasha Thomas said today when she was speaking about it. She said, "This is an exciting time for the club, and I'm so pleased to be given this opportunity. You can feel how together the club is at the moment, and we want to continue to build bonds with the community. Get the club out there. The community is huge, and this feels like a great step. Just more. This is what the owners did say when they took charge. They wanted to return the club back to its community roots and make it a community, because that's the only way this football club really can thrive and survive and grow, isn't it?
We said that during the Evans era when we were like really sort of, and it was going pear-shaped under Lambert. We were going, where is this Suffolk spirit? Everything that everyone can relate to, connect to, get involved with, feel a part of. All the things that Talking Town's kind of provided people, I suppose, over the last 18 months, that kind of thing. And that they've provided it now. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
You touched on it last night, Matt, on the train. If you see, I don't know if anyone's seen it, Accrington and Stanley in the week. Yeah. Giving them free shirts out of the school. It's little things like that.
Yeah.
I'd love our club to do that. Get in the schools, get in the schools. Get them all wearing town shirts.
Yeah. Every school gets a free shirt.
If we can get any, because I know the club are struggling to get the shirts in because of COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's another thing, isn't it? But you have to. It's a
Fisherman. I've always been friends with Matt Holland. Don't worry about it.
It's a two-pronged approach, isn't it? About getting in the schools in terms of player recruitment, which can be very difficult now with Norwich's new development centre, etc. But it's also about creating the new town fans and showing them role models like Macaulay Bond, front and central, people they want to look up to, want to emulate in the playground, want to be. So it's very much just
no one wanted to be an Ollie Hawkins or an Aaron Drennan in the playground, did they? Or a Stephen Ward.
I mean, to Accrington, they're competing with a lot of clubs in the Northwest there, aren't they? So they've got to kind of come up with these gestures. I mean, Ipswich are a little bit more isolated in their geography, but I mean, it's great to see what they're doing. I'd like to see more clubs. I'd like to see Premier League clubs do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Lee Bayliss. Matt Holland is just the type of figurehead this club needs. And I hope the appointment of Director of Football and Peter Reid also works. Well, we'll bring on to Peter Reid then, Matt. At the time of writing this down, I wrote, yet to be confirmed, but edging closer. Well, it has been confirmed now. Consultancy firm Reid & Co. are coming in to help poor manager Paul Cook. What do you expect Reid to bring to the party then, Matt? In terms of, you've worked with Cook before. Cook had this to say this morning. The same applies for Peter as it applies to everybody else when it comes to signings or recruitment or anything else. We're a club that wants to be the best we can be. If a person of Peter's experience or quality was to come into our football club, well, he has now, it would only enhance what we are doing. Again, I'm sure from our club's point of view, when there's an announcement to be made, there'll be one. And if there isn't one to be made, then obviously there won't be. Well, that has been made since this was produced. I've worked with Peter before. Peter's a proper football person. He brings a wealth of experience and knowledge to any football club. If that addition was to come to Ipswich, I'm sure our supporters will be excited. So what can you expect to see from Reid Consultancy Co? What's the changes, or what's the dynamic going to be? That's what many fans are asking themselves, really. What's the dynamic going to be?
What's he going to bring? Well, I mean, look, Peter Reid kind of brings this level of standards. He was going to bring standards to the club. I think Cook's got them, but he brings them as well. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, he went back to Goodison and watched Everton Man City, and the Man City won 3-1, and the Everton fans clapped Everton off after the defeat. And Peter Reid was like, I was disgusted by that. Our standards have slipped that much at Goodison that we're clapping people off. And we've kind of said that before, haven't we? You know, the relegation season, we clapped them off. So he's a tough guy, Peter Reid. I did a couple of events with him in my FA years, and he's a really top guy. Quite difficult to understand with his accent, but he's a tough guy. And I like the fact that he'll bring that kind of standard. And he's the kind of guy that wants you to embrace expectation. So the expectation from all of us as a fan base this year, wasn't it, was to finish top 2 or top 6 as like a worst case scenario. And he would say to people, you need to embrace that, take that pressure and embrace it. He's that kind of character. So I can only see it as being a positive. I feel like, I don't know if you feel the same here, Rich, but I do feel like this is a halfway house in the fact that we've been talking about this assistant. Cook said he didn't need an assistant. And then suddenly Peter Reid's rocked up. So I do feel like maybe Cookie's turned around and said, look, I'll take someone on that I've worked with previous, be it at Wigan. I feel like maybe there's a halfway house here somewhere because he couldn't get Richardson. But obviously it sounds like he needed somebody, and Cookie trusts Peter Reid.
Yeah, I reckon I don't think he's probably had pressure applied to him. I wouldn't like that if like someone like Ashton or someone went to him and said, look, you need to appoint, and that's totally down to the manager if he wants to appoint an assistant manager, another coach. For me, it's a no-brainer. Look at his standing in the game. He's managed a lot of clubs. And you've got to have that connection. I was talking to the fisherman in the week, and it's like he said, if you're a manager of a football club, it's like people saying he should have brought in a Burley, a Butcher, someone who was connected with the club. He's not going to bring anyone in like that because he needs someone that he can trust 100%. I'm not saying he couldn't trust them, but he probably doesn't know them. You want to bring your own people in. Yeah. You don't want to be picking these people outside that you don't really know about. And that's where the assistant comes in, Matt, because obviously Richardson was his trusted number 2 wherever he went. So to get someone else into that role, I think it's really difficult because a lot of them, you'll see these managers, like I said before on here, Mick and Terry, they go everywhere together. So he couldn't have Richardson. He's got Reid. He's worked with him before. It's another pair of eyes. He's going to sit. I can't remember who it was in the chat, I think on Sunday, and I totally agree with him. Sitting at a different level. I sometimes think, I don't know what you two think, when a manager is watching a game, he's at ground level. He can't see everything. I remember Joe Royal when he always used to sit in the director's box in the first half of the game.
Yeah.
So if he's got Peter Reid to sit up there, he can watch the game, see different things. I don't know, will he have an earpiece in? I don't know. Will he just talk to Cookie at half time? You don't know. But I just think, look, it's nothing but positive.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
You talked there about Paul Cook, if he's been made to have him, etc., etc. Do you think it's more of Ashton potentially, or the football club looking to take excuses away from Cook? Because of human beings, we're famous, like Matt there of the taxi gaff. He'll say, oh well, yeah, normally there's taxis there, but because this time it's an excuse. So is this the way of the football club, as Matt was sort of saying, appeasement of, okay, well, don't go and get a number 2, go and get this consultancy figure. But then when you say after 3 more defeats, wow, it's not quite working, maybe I'm not getting it. I don't know. Is it an excuse, one less excuse to fall back on?
I don't think it's an excuse, is he, Rich? I don't think it's an excuse. I think they're trying to give Paul Cook every opportunity to succeed.
Yes.
Because, you don't need to be Einstein to work out we've had a very slow start. And there's been some...
What's it going to be, Matt, though? Is he just on a match day? Is he going to be at the training ground? Because he's not going to be at the game tomorrow. He starts at Pompey on Tuesday night. He said he's going to be at that game. So is it just on a match day basis, or don't know, do we?
No,
we don't know.
He's been at the games, though. He was at Accrington, wasn't he? And he was at the game last week.
Yeah, he was.
He ain't going to be coming cheap either. Do you know what I mean?
Well, no.
Another cost.
Talking of not coming cheap, the Prediction League, we are running a competition on that until the 30th of October. Football Manager 2022 is being given away to one of the top 10 members in the league come the 30th of October. That's right down to Damien Knight currently. So if you're Damien Knight upwards, you currently are in possession of one of those lucky tickets. If you want to be in that table or make yourself up make your way up that table, like a Lee Anderson, for example. These are the predictions this week. Sadly, Westerfield Trinity Red Devils has been cancelled due to COVID. But if you want to still put that down, I will count it for when they do return the fixture. but it probably will be after the 30th of October. Link is in the chat. I mentioned that because I want to ask you, Rich, modern game. Have we got too many Football Manager player pundits that are really fans? Because Cook said this. The reality is that if two teams play the same formation, normally the better players with the better attitude will win. People just tweak formations as and where. I think for our team, we play with a 10 as such, but we actually don't. We actually try and utilize the 10 to play wherever we feel we can hurt the opposition. Because in a modern day formation of 4-3-3, the deep line striker takes the 10 out of the game. So it's all tweaks and different stuff. What Chaplin's proving as he comes in is he carries a goal threat. Connor's a goal scorer. He's an extra striker. I think when you see Bursant play there, he's a creator. He can score goals, but he's more a creator who assists more. So the reality is for us all to put these ingredients in place, come up with the best formula and the best thing for Ipswich Town on a match day. So have we got too many fans that procrastinate on what's a number 8, what's a number 10? When in reality, Cookie's breaking it down very simply here. Black and white. You've got a creator and you've got a goal scorer. They do completely different things, but in that same role.
Look, this is football in 2021, isn't it? It's everyone there's so many things you can watch football, you've got apps, there's everything you can look, the old analytics, not a massive fan of it myself. It's a simple game, isn't it, really? When you
hear about people saying it, the low press, the high press, the medium press, the karate kid, the black belt, the wooden block. Exactly.
It's all a load of bollocks, isn't it? At the end of the day, football is a simple game. It gets overcomplicated, I think, nowadays by everybody, and I sometimes even think coaches, because we see it now. We're in League One, the standard. It's not great. There's some decent teams, there's some average teams, but everyone's trying to play like Man City. You see when they take a goal kick, they're playing out from the back, passing it across the area. When you think sometimes you're playing at this level for a reason, and we all want to see decent football, but sometimes you just have to go a bit more direct. So look, everyone thinks that they know better. We think we know better. Martin thinks he knows better. Matt thinks he knows better. But at the end of the day, a number 10, if you've got a number 10 in your team, and I know like you can say about Selena creating, I want someone in there who's going to be able to score goals as well. And I think Chaplin, he starts for me tomorrow. I thought he had a good game Saturday. He was all over the shop. But it's like Scott Fraser, he said he was an 8, wasn't he? He was an 8. What's an 8 then? An 8, a 6, a 4, a 10. Way too complicated nowadays. Just keep it simple.
Yeah. And do you think players fall in love with those little tags as well, Matt? Do you think, because players themselves are human beings?
I just stop you there. I was talking to the guy behind me at the Shrewsbury game, Matt, and I think Shrewsbury were bringing on Southall Town, and he got this massive folder out, one of the assistant, and he's flipping through all these things, and he said to me, "Do you reckon he's listening to what he's saying?" And I said, "No, that's going in one ear and out the other. It's absolute bollocks. They've got diagrams and all this." Did Sir Bobby have all this back in the day? An iPad.
Did Lyle?
No, exactly. I do feel like, I think you're right. I do feel like when people complicate it, they're just trying to make themselves sound intelligent. Jimmy Greaves always said tactics and formations was just chaos once you was on the pitch. It was every man for himself. So I do feel like, the false 9 and all this kind of thing. And XG we always make a bit of fun of, don't we? At the end of the day, you've just got to find your attributes that are going to hurt the opposition, and whatever the tactics that might be, so be it, or whatever formation that might be. I do feel like, with digital and social media and the rise of online stuff, I just feel like probably data and analytics has just got a world of its own, and it's in the hands of nerds, isn't it? Like you say, John Lyle didn't need all this. Bobby Robson didn't need all this.
The thing is, though, there's analytics and there's analytics. Like analytics telling you Khaled, Raheem Harper, etc., maybe at the start of their peak power S, and if you get them now, it's almost like buying a stock. You're buying it at a low price because you're going to be able to sell it in a couple of years at a high price. That's a different type of Moneyball analytical approach. When you're talking about things as simple as number 10, number 8, Cookie's made it plain and simple there. And Lambert, to bring another manager in, said players make systems, not systems make players. Chaplin is a goal scoring threat. Selena's a creating threat. A creating threat. It's almost, if we need a goal, we want Chaplin. If if you're starting the game at a 0-0 basis, maybe Selena is the way to go because he can create something out of nothing. I don't know. It seemed to be black and white with Cookie there in that interview.
Yeah. It depends on the level of the opposition as well. You'd imagine someone like Selena and Chaplin and Bond should do all right against Cambridge because they were League Two last season and they've all played at a much higher level. It's down to the opposition as well, isn't it? I think.
Well, yeah, but of course, that said, there are things that you low block, high block, etc. But we are conceding goals, and we spoke about it early part of the week. Why are we conceding goals? Cook had this to say on the goals against. We're 11 games into a season. I think if you look back on the season in general, we've been flattened once, probably by Bolton at home. Apart from that, the games have all taken formats where we have taken more points. If you look at the game, you look at the 11 league games with the league settling down now. Our goals for column is great. Our goals against column is not good enough. He attributed that later on in his piece, maybe to the whole team not working hard, the whole team not hassling. It's a lot of talk this week on the platform, with fans. Why are we conceding goals? What do you both think? I'll ask you first, and Rich, you can come in a second.
Don't know. Weird one, isn't it? Because we were pretty. I mean, even though the football was really boring last season, we were pretty tight, weren't we? We didn't concede too much. What was it? 17, 18 clean sheets last season with Toto and a combo of Wilson and Wolfenden. Much more tack-minded this season, aren't we? In terms of getting forward, we've got a good goal record, but has that made us a little bit more vulnerable at the back? I don't know. Don't forget, we've got two new lads at the back, haven't we? In Burgess and Edmondson, still finding their feet. I mean, like Cook even said himself, they were like strangers, weren't they, against Bolton? But they seem to be, now they're playing more together. They seem to be finding their feet. I still sometimes think that maybe it's going to take this season just for everyone just to know each other's game. But of course, we've got expectations, so they haven't really got that time, have they? Maybe Paul Cook hasn't got that time in terms of
You say that, but then on the show on Monday, Rich was in the chat, and Rich, you were saying really it starts from the front of, and we're not doing, Bond for all his ability in front of goal. We're not as a team defending well from the front, and that's where it starts for you.
Yeah, everyone does. It was someone in the chat. I don't know who. I can't remember who it was, Martin, on Monday. Ian Rush, when he played for Liverpool, great goal scorer. He was one of their best defenders. Because if you ever see him play defending from the front, he was fantastic at it. But look, it depends, because if Bond's pressing, then someone's got to come behind him. If everyone's not doing their jobs and it falls down somewhere, I don't know, because it's like we're going to Cambridge tomorrow. I don't think there's many people watching this show who thinks we're going to go there tomorrow and probably keep a clean sheet. We're probably going to concede one. It was like Shrewsbury at the weekend. They didn't do a lot. And we still let a goal in, didn't we? And made it hard for ourselves. So until we can eradicate them goals going in, it's always going to be a little bit different. But then when Joe Royle was here, were we concerned when we conceded goals? No, because we always knew that we could score more than the opposition. And if that's the way it goes all season, and we score more goals than the opposition does it really bother you? Not really.
No, not at all. We've got Tom Phipps. I want to see Carroll back in the midfield and Evans out. We've got Ben Moore. We're ahead of the Ben Moore derby. We get hurt once we lose the gap between the midfield and the strikers and defence. As soon as Morsey drops further deep, we get hurt for him. If we give Will Houlihan too much space, we get hurt. Simple. Chris Boyd, Cambridge capacity is 8,000. We're taking 2.5. It'll feel like a home game for us. EJ Norris, as long as you play as a team, will be okay. Rob Smith would start El Mizani instead of Evans. He knows Cambridge. It's an interesting one. We'll come to Cambridge in just a second. Colin Plum, Paul Cook, good squad. Let's bloody go, boys. Lee Bayliss. Here, Colin. B didn't want to come here. That's the end of it for me. I think he means Richardson didn't want to come here. That's the end of it for me. And Chris Boyd, with his experience enough and smart enough to have done his homework. There'll be TOIs that he's working to. Cook will have laid out what he wants from him before Reed accepted. Right, we'll come on to Cambridge now. Before we do, have a quick word from our sponsor.
Ipswich Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single £1.20, a return only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talk in Town.
Now go contact us with Ipswich Buses. Lizzie didn't need to rush, Matt. I took you out of the stream. And
she was after 8s.
I know. Well,
the monkeys after the marathon, yeah.
Can't blame that, you see. So I whip it in and out she was, but I was like, I'll take him out and then she can take her time, bless her. But
I totally agree with Ronnie's point there about Evans. If anyone thinks that El Mazzoni's starting tomorrow at Cambridge, you need to go and...
Well, no, I think the person who said that, Rob Smith, is going from the point of view that he knows Cambridge and their intricate way of playing or intimacy.
He played out for the games. He got returned and he went to Grimsby.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Evans and Morsey going forward, unless they both have a loss of form, are going to be our midfield too. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm a big fan of Evans.
80-odd game. You're not a fan?
Nice. I'm a big fan of Evans. So you won't hear me disagreeing with that.
You're not a big fan of Morsey, though, are you?
Well, you're kind of missing.
He only had one of the greatest debuts ever seen, and Martin goes,
kind of misconstrued my words there. You've taken a little bit out of context.
We were discussing this on the train last night.
We'll speak more about it on Sunday. That's a little bit out of context, that one. Duncan, I'm nowhere near any level to think I know best, though I do remember of the 80s. That's where I tried to use the system from then. Mark, evening lads. He's got his new town shirt as Mark.
Yeah,
rocking the new town shirt.
What a stud. What a stud.
Never felt so much fear coming from fans in a game in all my life. It's Cambridge. If we can't beat them, we're going nowhere. Absolutely. Callie, El Miz is cover for Morsey. Ben Moore. Evans needs to be more defensive. Can't have Morsey doing it all. I'm getting the feeling night before a big game, Ben is starting to lose that nerve, ladies and gentlemen. You can see him in the chat, starting to lose a nerve. Here's the last 5, though, Ben, to give you a little bit of confidence as we head into Cambridge. We have not lost since 1993 to Cambridge. Granted, we haven't played them since 1993, but stats are stats. And we've not lost since 1991. A 2-1 defeat at home.
Were you in that game, Matt?
No, I wasn't.
You weren't there.
No.
That was also Liz's birthday.
Did Cook say anything today? This is a bragging rights game.
Well, this is what we're coming into. We'll go there. Well, you've got the question, so we'll come to it in a second. But I want to come to Rich in terms of the amazing support that Paul Cook is blown away by. Because obviously we were at the FCAs last night, and you've spoken about a third-tier team with sort of 3 or 4 podcasts, or you both have at various different points of the time. Cook said this: I think when we come in, because we've been at Portsmouth, Gary Roberts was speaking about the clubs and the way both parts of the country love their club desperately, the Portsmouth fans being the same. Ipswich, they'll really shock you, said Gary. Gaff, they really travel. They're great supporters. Our supporters have been amazing this year. I really do. People have said to me about a couple of boos at the end of the game, about travelling, but I think the support has been 90% absolutely brilliant. I want to get your thoughts, because you are, man of the people, voice of the fans, Richard Moss. That's bound to upset a few people. So you should speak on behalf of the fans as the people's champion. 2,500 fans going, more in the away end also probably, let's be honest. What do you think about our support, particularly tomorrow's away following?
Well, it's fantastic. Wherever we've been this season, we went to Lincoln, we've been to Burton. Look, we travel in great numbers, and we haven't even got really started yet, have we?
No.
We haven't had the best start. I think we've sold nearly 1,300 for Pompey on Tuesday night.
What?
Yeah, nearly 1,300 sold. Probably we'll sell a few more if we win tomorrow, get a good result. Look, we've always been well supported on the road, and even the home fans. It's
18,000 Shrewsbury. That's a big crowd, big attendance in there.
We are all waiting for it to kickstart, aren't we? And I think, like Colin said before, like the snowball effect. And like you said, we had 19,000 last week at home to Shrewsbury. Just imagine if we're in the top 6 pushing, after Christmas. They'll probably do the half-season tickets. They normally do that for Christmas time, don't they? So you'd think there'd be a big take-up on that. But
you were speaking to Nappers, obviously Fleetwood vlogger last night. We were playing there on the 23rd, which is Saturday. How many fans did he say they were bringing?
Well, I said, how many are coming down? He reckons about 100 odd.
100 odd? And we're taking 1,300 to Portsmouth?
You have to put in context the stars of the club. Fleetwood fans probably just come from Fleetwood, where town fans come from far and wide, don't we? We're all over the country, all over the world. So look, Emerson there. I was talking about this around Collins. So Norwich had 3,000 tickets for Chelsea, and they returned half of them. They've only sold 1,500. But
small, mate. That's why.
Going down already.
It is a 12:30 kickoff. It's on BT. I can understand that. Football's not cheap. We know that. That game is on BT Sport, and if Norwich take up the 3,000 tickets, they have to pay for them all. So whether they sell them or not, they're stuck with them. So, yeah, look, it's great numbers. I'm looking forward to go to Portsmouth Tuesday. That's going to be a good trip. I know Colin's going down to Plymouth. Sunderland we got coming up soon. We'll probably take a lot there, you know. I think we're going to be well supported. We are well supported wherever we go.
I mean,
every Saturday we follow as we see.
We've even got fans as far as Canada this weekend. Callie Bisler, he's in Canada this weekend watching the town play for purposes of iFollow. Colin Plum, very talented, 400 to Alfredson. You see? Yes, exactly. Ben Moore.
Well, I think another thing, Martin, is probably we've had no football for 18 months as well. So everyone at the minute is really, they want to go and watch their team wherever they're playing.
That
other than Matt Phillips, probably. Other than Matt Phillips, who's always busy.
Well, it does annoy me a little bit that everyone travels in great numbers. Do you know what I mean? I feel like if you don't turn up to the opening of a crisp packet sometimes, if you've had like a bad result, like we had against Bolton, don't go to the away game. Do what they do in Italy. Just don't go.
Well, you don't go anyway, so don't worry about it. You ain't got to worry. You're voting with your feet.
I do feel like we do go and support some mediocrity sometimes. You know what I mean? I would like to see a little bit more protest in there sometimes. That result wasn't very good. Therefore, we aren't going to travel. Just so you know. Just so you know. But the Ipswich players get the best of both worlds. They get really good support at home. They get really good support away. Sometimes you just need to step back and say, right, we ain't going to go to these games.
Look at Sheffield Wednesday the other night, Matt. They went to the Papa John's Trophy at Mansfield and sold out their away in. Now, that is a game that doesn't really matter. So,
but they're on the buzz still that we were on.
Football teams, Matt. They want to do, everyone goes to work. They go to work. And on a Saturday, you want to, like Friday today, everyone's looking forward to tomorrow, travelling to Cambridge, where they're going to go, how they're going to get there, what pub they're going to go to. So it's part of people's, like Colin, it's part of people's lives, you know.
10:30, Matt. 10:30. 10:30.
You're too invested. Too invested on a weekday. Watch the repair shop or something. It's good.
Well, you're having a lie-in tomorrow morning, right? I'm bloody sitting in the car with Colin Plum. He's having his 80th away day beer at 10:45 in the morning. It's nothing wrong with the beer, but anyway, you got to pace yourself, old Cole. Matt, I'll bring you in, right?
I've got a new one tonight.
Oh, have you? What you got?
Forza Paolo.
Oh, I've had that. It's quite nice.
A big shout out to Josh because he's not feeling very well.
It's a little bit poorly.
Get well soon.
Absolutely, Josh. We're with you. So, Cook, today, Matt, it's a big game with bragging rights, the Ben Moore derby. So, step forward, Matthew Phillips of Hard Truth to deliver the verdict. The question is, after what Cook said, when I read it out in a second, is this a big game with bragging rights or is it the Tin Pot Derby? Here we go. Cook said this. He's done a great job, Mark, hasn't he? Done a really good job from getting that promotion last year to coming into a new league that offers totally different challenges. I'm sure they'll have a lot in their short period in the league. They've had some outstanding results, some really good wins. They've travelled home and away. I'm sure Mark will be really pleased. I think it's a game that the whole area of the country will be looking forward to. The game sold out. We take great travelling support. It's a fixture that even for managers, myself and our players, it's one that excites us. It very much does. It's one that we look forward to and think, come on, the hairs on our body stand up because it's a derby match. And as such, it's a big game. There's a big bragging rights that go with it. And it's a game we desperately want to do well in. What do you think?
He really said the hairs stand up for this game.
I've just word for word what was reported that he said.
Wow. No. This is like Man United being worried about bloody Oldham or Stockport County. League, is it? This ain't a derby. Norwich is the derby. Our push, the A12 derby, Colchester. This is not a derby. We haven't played them in like 30 years. So, you know, this is not bragging rights. Oh my God. No way. Colin's going to pick you up at 11:15, by the way.
No, we're picking him up at 11:15. So do the math. Do the math.
11:15. No,
we're not going to go to Bury to come back and pick me up, are we, Cole?
I just looked at the 24 teams in the league, right? 11 used to be in the non-league, of which Cambridge is one of them. We are not rivals of Cambridge. Not rivals of Cambridge at all. It's just another game. It just happens to be not too far away. Ain't a derby. It's not a derby. Anyone in the chat think this is a derby? It's not a derby, is it? No bragging rights.
I mean, do I have to take a little bit of this blame here, Crunch? Because I've called it the Ben Moore derby and that word started to resonate through. Do you think? Is it my fault? Is it Talking Town's fault, the platform that speaks for the fans? What do you think, Crunch?
Look, I'll be honest. I was born in Cambridge. I've lived in Cambridgeshire all my life. I've got a bit of a soft spot for Cambridge. I really have. And what Mark Bonner's done there...
You're a glory hunter. What? You should be supporting Cambridge if you're born there.
No, I shouldn't. You should be... You should be supporting West Ham because all your family do.
They do, yeah.
Thanks. Look, Mark Bonner's done a great job there, and I was reading his comments in the week, and he was spot on with what he said. All the hard work they've done last season for games like this, they're playing Town tomorrow, sellout. Sheffield Wednesday, Tuesday night, nearly a sellout. You know, they've done all their hard work. I think tomorrow for them it's a free hit. I really do. They'll be up for it. Is it a derby? Not really. You know.
Does it have bragging rights attached to it?
Not really. I know loads of Cambridge fans. I know loads of people who are going tomorrow. This is a poignant game for me because a really good friend of mine who I worked with for a long time passed away not that long back. He was a Cambridge season ticket holder. He would have been there tomorrow. You know, so I hope Cambridge have a really good season. Tomorrow at 3:00, I hope they get absolutely stuffed.
Will the hairs, though, Rich, be standing up on the back of your hand? You know, these hairy hands you both pointed out last night.
Very hairy, isn't it?
The hairy hands, the Richard Keys hands.
It's like Richard Keys, isn't he, Matt?
When we asked if he could pass the butter over, and he passed it over in the little dish last night, we went, "You've got really hairy hands." I didn't notice that before.
Yeah, well, after midnight, I'm not the werewolf in Paris.
Will the hairs on the back of my neck stand up tomorrow?
No.
Well, yours won't be, Matt. No, you're at an indoors party.
2,500, more than 2,500 fans in the stadium. The hairs on the back of my neck stand up every time, Matt, when our team come out. The music plays. I'm more invested than you.
No one's more invested than Ben Adams, by the way.
Even in the third tier, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Yeah. I find that hard to believe, man. If we were back in the Premier League, I'd be agreeing with you, but not now. 11 of these teams have been in the bloody non-league for crying out loud. That shows you how well they've done and how far we've fallen. That's the annoying thing about it. Is we have to play
massively.
We have to play these.
Not a derby, but Peterborough is ? It's not a derby either, is it?
Peterborough?
Yeah.
Cambridge is. Yeah, Peterborough's their big game.
Yeah, but I think he means for us.
No, I think he's on about. I don't know.
That's their derby, yeah. That's the Mick George derby, that one, because Mick George sponsors both of them.
Yeah, how they view it is we can't do anything about it.
I don't know if they still do it, Cambridge, at half time. The Mick George skip challenge. They have the skip on the pitch, just over at the back, and they have someone try and chip the ball in there. Brilliant.
Who is Mick George? Isn't he on the front of Peterborough shirts as well?
Yeah. So it's the Mick George derby. Honestly, he sponsors both of them. Skip hire, isn't it? Mick George skip hire. Matt Stannard, Gov. Yeah, Gov. Did Matt steal one of those cups last night? No, but he did sleep in it. You
photobombed that girl in from her.
No, she photobombed the picture of my cup.
It looked like you were trying to get a sneaky pick in there.
Of your cup. Don't make it sound that it's not.
That serves you right for trying to mock me.
Cambridge City is the oldest club too versus Cambridge United. Lee Bayliss. Not so much a derby for me. We need to go down to town on them and do a Doncaster and show them what we're about. Burton 3-1.
Is everyone not like fed up playing with these little teams? You Cheltenhams, your Morecambs, your Cambridges.
Well, I am.
Everyone in the chat, right? I'm not excited. My hairs aren't sticking out the back of my neck playing these teams, right? We get back in the Championship, I'll be pleased. Get back in the Premier League, hairs on the back of your neck at the moment. I'm not playing half the bloody divisions being in the league.
I know you're the Premier League, Matt, and then we get to the Premier League and we're getting slapped every week 5-0. The hairs on the back of your neck ain't going to stand up then. You're going to think, this ain't
limited. What are we chucking the money about? I ain't going to get slapped by nobody.
All right, I'll tell you what.
We ain't knowledge.
Before we come to the last question of the night, I'll bring in a man that's seen us play many big games, the GOAT. Colin, I've got a couple of questions for you. Don't say nothing at all. I'm going to mute. Yeah, good evening, Colin. I'm going to mute you, Colin, because I know how you come across me and say good evening, everybody. But I've got a question for you, Cole. Will the hairs on the back of your neck be standing up when Wes Hoolahan and whatever Cambridge City player comes out tomorrow for the big
Cambridge United.
That is non-league, yeah.
You see, they're so irrelevant to me, Colin. I don't know the fuck we're playing tomorrow. Is it a big game? Has it got bragging rights, Colin?
Well, let's start off just by saying I do understand totally where Rich is coming from, because every game that I go to, the hair standing up on the back of my neck. I totally disagree, Matt. I respect you very much, as you know, but I'll tell you what, I always remember my father saying when we used to come out to the marching of the gladiators, he used to always say to me, my God, that makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck. And I don't listen. We don't hear that anymore. But every time, especially at Portman Road, I do agree with Rich. Yes, yeah. And the answer to your question is, Gov, when the boys come out tomorrow alongside that bloke who used to play in the O140 who remain nameless, right? Yeah, the hairs will come up on the back.
Quarter to 5, Colin. I think you might know his name at quarter to 5. I'll give him a bit more respect than that, because he's a very good player. He might be.
I've not said Rich.
Might nearly be drawing his pension, but he's still decent.
I've not said he isn't. I've not said he isn't. But if we can't handle a player of 39 years of age, we might as well give up, Rich. Honestly, I mean, we've got some.
I don't think he's that old, is he? Is he 39?
I think so.
That's what I've heard. I might be wrong. I don't know. Anyway, if we can't handle people like Wes Houlihan, Rich, we have really got a problem. Personally, I personally think. But we'll be all right tomorrow. I personally think we'll get a clean sheet tomorrow. I think we'll win 2-0. Job done. And off down to Bombay.
All right, love it.
But we've got to treat these teams with respect. Of course, you have. Treat every team with respect. But there's a line, where you've got to draw a line, and think to yourself, like people have said, and quite rightly, it is Cambridge United, for God's sake, with all due respect, it is Cambridge United. And if we can't win at Cambridge United, well,
the meltdown will be epic if we don't win tomorrow, Matt, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
The meltdown will be epic, Matt, if we don't win tomorrow.
Oh, well, we know this.
I totally agree, Rich. I totally agree. Yeah. Totally agree with that. But
the highest highs or the lowest lows, Ipswich fans. Don't get it.
I'm gonna have to let you go though, Colin, because you've got me up at crack of dawn tomorrow, and didn't get.
Oh, for goodness sake, man!
I got up at 5 a.m. this morning. I went to bed after 2 a.m. So I'm gonna have to let you go. But you reckon it'll be a clean sheet tomorrow?
Clean sheet tomorrow. Really looking forward to seeing you. Really looking forward to seeing Rich and all the Taunton Town lot.
It's your round. Get the beers in, all right? It's your round.
He owes me a beer anyway.
Anyway, tomorrow, 9 a.m. in the morning, I'll be feet up watching Sky Sports first of all, so you won't get me moving past that first thing in the morning. But you look after yourself, Colin. I'll see you tomorrow, right?
Yeah. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.
Lot of love for him. Lot of love. Matt,
that went straight over his head. That did.
It won't do when I'm texting it again tomorrow morning. Matt Stannard, Gov, swing by the cost drive-through en route to Bury. Oh, I like that idea. Mark, if you're in the chat still, take a note. I like that one. Monty, I'll take a draw tomorrow. Tomorrow.
You on the beers? You on the beers, Gov, tomorrow?
I've got no.
Oh, come on.
I might have a couple.
Yeah,
but yeah, I do agree with Neil here, guys. If Morsey is as sold, Houlihan will not play a part tomorrow, because that's what he's been brought in to do, isn't it? Nullify that.
About Houlihan, he's 30 for crying out loud.
You look young.
Yeah, if I need to be 39, still mine. But I mean, look, in terms of football, no other club would be looking at this of our stature and our history going, I hope we can keep that 39-year-old quiet. Come on.
Well, Craig at Portsmouth. Houlihan's okay, but the best player we've faced in our time in League One is Pompey's Curtis. Tuesday's the bigger test. Yeah. I think it's because Houlihan has hurt us in his prime, and that's
he is back. We haven't played him for ages.
But you get that fear, don't you? You really do. Okay, so last point. This is to both of you now. Cook was his typical self this morning in terms of player fitnesses. So the question is, after I've read out the Cookie comments, would either of you make changes tomorrow? And if so, why? Who and why? Cook said this. We'll just keep our cards close to our chest. We've got an extremely strong squad. I think competition for places is there for everyone to see. Personally, as a manager, I've always felt competition should always drive performance up. I think that's a real key ingredient to what good clubs have, that you fear for your place. If Burson wasn't to start tomorrow, that's obviously tough after you've been away playing international football, of course. But obviously, Connor's come in and taken that chance. I think one of the big things with the 3 games coming up this week, 3 very tough fixtures starting off at Cambridge, I think we're going to have to utilise the squad in certain areas to get the best level performance we can and most points we can accumulate. Fans don't always agree with managers rotating their squad, preferring to stick with winning 11s, even when games are coming thick and fast. And he'd probably be in the way of thinking that himself, if he was being truthfully honest. But you look at the performance at Accrington after we'd won against Doncaster, then that probably goes against the grain. As a manager, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because the result becomes paramount. So if Portsmouth also on the horizon on Tuesday, would you make any changes for tomorrow? If so, who and why? Rich, kick us off on that one.
Not making any changes tomorrow.
Okay.
Same team. Look, I think Tuesday's probably the game where he'll make 2 or 3, but I don't think we want him. I know we've got 3 games in a week and we've got a big squad, and he will probably utilise that sort of moving forward. But I think we need to you keep that spine of the team together now. Your goalkeeper. I don't know if is Walton in the squad tomorrow, Martin? I don't know if he's fit.
Walton was, again, cards extremely close to his chest, so there was no let up on anybody in terms of in or out, from what I could read through the press conference.
I think your goalkeeper, your 2 centre halves, your 2 in midfield. We know Bond's going to play, so you can tinker around maybe in them wide areas, maybe the 10. I think tomorrow, it'd be really harsh on Colin Chaplin tomorrow if Selena comes back in that role. He could play Selena wide, I do know that, but I think tomorrow I would go with the same team that beats Rosebery.
Okay.
I know Penny had a tight hamstring. I think he'll be all right because he was doing an interview today. Coulson's not going to be fit until Fleetwood. So yeah, I'll just stick with what we've got.
Okay, Matt.
Selena ain't going to play. He's done 2 games for Kosovo. You know, whatever Cookie says, he's actually quite conservative sometimes, I think.
Probably didn't get back till Thursday as well, Matt, did he? If he's travelling as well.
He's going to be on the bench. So they're going to play. They'll probably play the same team, I agree. I think Fraser will be over there again. What impacts he has on the game, I don't know. I don't think that's the right position for him. Like to see Edwards start over there. I don't know. But maybe he's an impact player from the bench. But certainly, I don't think we'll see Selena in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
100% right. Not after 2 games for Kosovo. No way.
Do you subscribe to the thinking there of Paul Cookies in terms of squad utilisation, or are you thinking actually Connor Chaplin should be able to play 3 games this week, no problems? He's hardly played at all yet this year.
Difficult one, isn't it? Look, players get treated with kid gloves these days, don't they? You know, the days of Russell Osman playing 66 games, wherever it was in 1981, we're far removed from that, aren't we? It's barely like you can play 2 games back to back. I don't know. I do feel like Portsmouth is the bigger game. That's the game I always thought we'd probably beat Cambridge, and I've always thought we'd struggle at Portsmouth. So I do feel like that's the bigger game. That might be the game where we do see Selena come in. So I think we'll see Chaplin tomorrow and maybe Selena in that 10 position. Why anyone thinks Selena's good in that 10, I don't know. He's not really had much impact. I'd rather see him wide as he was against Doncaster than we had 2 assists, I think it was.
6 points, the chat think, minimum crunch from these next 2. What would you agree with that?
Chaplin there, Matt. I think Chaplin, he'll want to play at Portsmouth, ex-Pompey player.
Is he?
Tuesday night.
Yeah.
You might get an extra 5-10% out of him that night. 6 points, obviously I'd take 6. But anyone just writing off Cambridge tomorrow and saying Pompey's the biggest game, just concentrate on tomorrow. Let's wait till 10 to 5 tomorrow. Hopefully we've come out with the 3 points. But it has to be the right mindset tomorrow. We've got egg in our face. We've gone to Cheltenham. We've gone to Accrington and Stanley. We've got to come out there tomorrow, win them first balls, win them second balls, because Cambridge are going to be bang up for this game. They really are. And if we just have that attitude that we're just going to turn up, we're going to get the 3 points, they're going to roll over, you got another thing coming.
Yeah. But without making this another Paul Cook sort of slagging match, isn't that, again, that's down to the management to make sure that doesn't happen? And we've dropped
once they're over that white line, it's out of his control. The
players,
it doesn't
work like that, does it?
Players in football nowadays, this is not just town, players in football nowadays get away with it way too easy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But they have to take responsibility. We heard Morsey's come in with a big rap. Now, tomorrow, we're going there. He's got to get hold of them in that huddle and say, right, We went to Akron and it wasn't good enough. I wasn't here at Cheltenham, so we can take that out of the equation. But we can't be having a show tomorrow, Martin, at 5 o'clock where we've got rolled over again, because it's not acceptable. Because we have to respect Cambridge, but we also have to beat them. If we're going to get up this league, teams like Cambridge United, we're going to have to put to bed. We're going to have to, because otherwise,
exactly,
we ain't getting nowhere.
So this is quite a pivotal week, really, Matt, when you look at it in terms of Paul Cook and which direction is the fork going to go in, because you've got Cambridge, Portsmouth, then Fleetwood. That's got to be 9 points. For me, the hardest of those three is going to be Portsmouth away, but you've left yourself very little wiggle room. Yeah. Fleetwood shouldn't prove that much of a test, touchwood, and neither should Cambridge. So this is going to tell us come 24th, the Sunday, 24th of October, which way this football club in the season is going to go.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I don't lose sight of the fact that because we beat Shrewsbury last week, Cook's still not playing for his future, managing for his future. He is. You know, we said at the start of the month, he needs a really good month. He still does. So I feel like we need to go to Cambridge tomorrow and win the game. We need to go to Fratton Park and, I think a point minimum is what we need there, and beat Fleetwood at home next week. He's still playing for his future. The Americans have put a lot of money into this club. Yeah. They want this club promoted, right? If Cook ain't delivering, he'll be gone. So me and Rich, big fans of Cookie. Martin, maybe not so much. We want to see him succeed here. He's got Peter Reid in to give him the best possible opportunity to do that. We need to start producing on the pitch. We got schooled at Accrington. Don't get me wrong. We beat Doncaster 6-0 and thought we'd turn up at Accrington and win. They put into this sort of typical non-league performance, as Moulsey put it, didn't they?
As Moulsey
put it, a little bit. We went 1-up and got bullied in the second half and lost 2-1. So I don't mind that as long as we learn from it. And I think the Cambridge game tomorrow will be very, very similar.
You have to start learning, Matt. You have to start learning sooner or later. It can't be we're Ipswich Town. We have to go out there and show that, look, we're coming here. We're coming to beat you. Because if you put the two 11s together, or the two squads, our football team, we've got miles better players than them and a lot of teams in this league. Counts for nothing. Counts for nothing at 3 o'clock when you cross that white line.
Yeah, exactly.
You mention Penny, tight hamstring. What happens if Penny can't go tomorrow? What's the plan B for you?
Well, no Toto tomorrow because he's ill.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he'll probably have
back, right? KV White comes back.
He'll probably have KV White and Wolfenden on the bench, I would have thought, tomorrow.
Bailey Clements, is your table ready?
Oh, go away.
You've already seen it. You've already seen a clue of that. Denassim would go left back and KV White would go to right back. Or either or. KV White can play left back if needs be.
Yeah, he did for Colchester, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Last thing to ask, really. Batstana Cruncher knows that. Bailey Clements. Ben, you've got mates that are Cambridge fans. Crikey, not heard that one before, says Joe Bradley. Humes Bakery, FM giveaway. Certainly is. Footman 2022. Get involved in our prediction league and you could win it. Safety Guy 20. Is Reid a temporary buffer for when Cookie takes the walk of shame?
We discussed this in the cap last night, didn't we?
We did. Matt Stannard, £50 coming in. Dino, Burgess left back and Wolf in the middle. Ooh. I mean, KVY can play left back. We just seem really sort of.
You've not seen him there, though, have you? You've not seen him there.
No.
Yet. But I think Denassim would go there if needs be.
Adrak. It could have an effect on Pompey as to how they're feeling after the game at Rotherham. Tough game. Colin Plum, the GOAT. Don't know anyone who supports Cambridge. No one at all. Emerson, Fairweather, with the better players, but they have to earn the right to play in these games. All starts with hard graft, then the quality can take over.
Definitely. It might have to take over at some point, doesn't it? Our budget dwarfs Cambridge's. We have to go there with that mindset.
Well, at times last week, if you'd put the two teams together in front of an alien and told them one team's got the bigger budget, you'd have struggled to find which one. And that's been all too often this year. Last thing to do before we close tonight's show, we are live tomorrow, right outside the away section of the stadium. Join us live pre-game and then also live at post-game, win, lose or draw. Myself, the Cruncher, the GOAT.
There's cows in that field. Did you know there's cows in that field along there by the yeah, look out for them cows because they will headbutt you. Funny old things.
It's a funny old game. Last thing before that. Can't say it well.
No. It's not my season.
Careful.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Score prediction, please, gentlemen. And to the chat, please. Score prediction.
Part of me thinks like we might take a draw tomorrow. I did say 1-1 in the old prediction thing. I do hope it's a 2-1. I do hope we just nick it 2-1. I'd be disappointed if we don't win tomorrow. Let's put it that way. Got to show some confidence, haven't we? Look, we've got aspirations to get out of this division. So you've got to go to these places and start winning games. Otherwise, it's going to be in the line. It's going to be, if we don't start winning these games, it's going to be in the line for Cookie.
Crunch.
Well, I had a few. I've got a few predictions for some ex-players for you.
Oh, like this.
So, Marcus Stewart says 1-1.
Oh, I don't like that.
Matt Holland says a Town win. He didn't say the score. And Adam Tenner says 2-1 Town.
Yeah, I like that. I'll go with that. Yeah.
But, yeah, I think, look, it's a case of first 20 minutes, the crowd's going to be lively, you know. But, look, there's 2,500 in our end. There's going to be a lot of fans all around the ground. We'll out-sing them. And hopefully, in the end, we'll outplay them on the pitch. But I think it'll be a tight game. But I think we'll sneak a 2-1, you know. It's all about the 3 points, isn't it?
Yeah.
3 points.
Well, it is.
And then we move on to the next game.
Because you do not want to be going into Tuesdays with a result like Matt's, because that is pressure against a team that we're not traditionally good at getting a result against.
And Cookie's old club, of course. Right?
Yeah,
you put the stats up the other day. Five defeats on the bounce to Pompey. But and if you look at the fixtures as well, guys, it's 4 out of the next 5 games are away from home.
Yeah.
If we don't win tomorrow, it's a mountain to climb for Cookie. He will have to win at Fratton Park. He would have to win at Pullman Road against Fleetwood. You know, the old egg time is running for him. You know, we were talking about this in the taxi last night. You know, there's games that we've not won that we should have done. Morecambe, Wimbledon, MK Dons. You know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Well, it was right what he said, wasn't it, in his press conference today, Matt? There's only that one game really against Bolton where we've got beaten badly. All them other games, we should have been beaten.
That was a disgusting.
And like Martin said, you've left yourself not a lot of room now for manoeuvre. So you need to start winning these games. You need to start winning these games and putting points on the board.
All right, we're live tomorrow from outside the away section. Come and join us if you're going to the game. Come and watch us. Come and get involved with the show. But until tomorrow, rest up, safe journey, and we'll see you just before we smash. They must have a nickname. What's their nickname here? Help me out. Fuck it. Of course it is. Our original.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for